Okay guys, OGL Biden here, bringing you guys my IBL Week 9 battle against Storm and his San Diego Sneasels. If you do want to check out a more detailed analysis of the team that we're bringing, the 6 we have, the potential, 10 or 11 that he could bring, definitely go check out the team builder. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. But a quick little rundown of the 6 we're bringing. We're bringing a 3 attacks, Roost, Flying Z, Archeops. We are bringing a Nasty Plot, Psychic, Vacuum Wave, Roost, Mew. Very bulky spread though, so we can take on a potential Zygarde. We're bringing a sub Dual Stabs, Dragon Dance, Komodo, a defensive Serena, a Choice Banded Mamoswine, and a Curse Mega Scizor. While our opponent's team consists of the Klefki, Mimikyu, Mega Venusaur, Ditto, Tornadus Eye, and Weavile. Now, right off the bat, I see no Zygarde, which is phenomenal. Now, I kind of regret bringing my Serena because it does, literally nothing in this match. It does absolutely nothing besides maybe pivot in once and U-turn and then come in as a sack later in the game, which is honestly completely fine. It's not the biggest deal in the world. I just wish I could bring a more useful member on the team this week. Porygon Z looks phenomenal in this game. What's to switch into Specs Porygon Z or something like that, but or even Scarf at that matter. But regardless, not too big of a deal. I am glad to see no Zygarde because I don't switch into that thing at all. Again, I had Serena, but Serena's actually potential setup fodder for it, so that's not the best. And I also see that he elected to bring the Mimikyu and the Weavile. So Weavile was a little bit more understandable. I did expect that to come regardless. But the Mimikyu I didn't think was very good versus me just because of the fact that I have Mega Scizor and it's non-Z Mimikyu, so he can never really break through me unless I let him get up to +4 Adamant, and he still has his Disguise, which should literally never happen, but nonetheless, it can still be a threat if we don't play around it correctly, but I'm not as scared of it, being that I do have the Mega Scizor. And speaking of Mega Scizor, it looks phenomenal in this game. If I can get a little bit of chip on the Venu, a little bit of chip on the Tornadus, +1 Bullet Punch destroys my opponent's team. It absolutely goes in. He has nothing for it. So that's definitely going to be my win con in this game, is trying to chip things down into range of the Scizor. But we do have to play around it, especially that Tornai. That Tornai looks terrifying. We do have the Archeops to kind of pivot into it, as well as the Mamoswine to potentially always revenge it with Banded Ice Shard after a little bit of chip. But other than that, we don't switch into it well, at all. So that's very scary. And the fact that he did bring Mimikyu makes it to where our Komodo is completely useless unless we can get rid of the Disguise on that thing. So we do have to take care of that thing if we do want to win with our Komodo or break with our Komodo. But that is definitely possible in itself. So yeah, with that being said, let's just jump right into the match. I am going to lead off with my Archeops because I figure it gets off a big hit on anything. If he wants to lead off with the Weavile, good play on him. I definitely don't expect to lead Weavile, but it would be the best lead against my Archeops, I suppose. Anything else I can throw off an Edge, a Earthquake, or a Flying Z against, and, be in a pretty good position, in all honesty, as he is going to lead off with the Klefki, and you're going to see that he's Air Balloon right here. Now, fun fact, at this time, I'm setting up my notes for the game. I'm writing down my team, his team, kills and deaths and stuff like that, getting it all set up in my little notepad, and I don't see that he's Air Balloon. So when you see me, take this first turn to click Earthquake, that's why. Really dumb play on my end, obviously. I didn't even see until afterwards, after he got the crit. I was like, oh dang, I wonder how much I did with Earthquake at least. And I saw nothing, and I was like, wait a minute, that's not even shook at damage because there's no damage. So that's a really dumb play on my end. I'm going to go for the Roost right here, as he does get the crit dazzling them, so we are going to be in defeatless range as he does go for a Spike right here. So that is really unfortunate. He's going to get up a Spike for free, and I'm going to throw off a Stone Edge just to break this thing's balloon, and so I can hopefully knock it out with an Earthquake the next turn. So he is going to throw off the Prankster Toxic, which is fine. We do throw off a Stone Edge. We're able to do a decent chunk to this thing, actually. A lot more than I thought we would, and we are able to pop the balloon. Now right here in my head, I'm thinking the fact that he was Air Balloon, he's probably not Magnerized. If he's Magnerized plus Air Balloon, very good prep on his part. I'm assuming probably for the potential Mamoswine, wanting to spam Earthquake versus his team, as he does go for the Magnerize. So this is really bad because my Archeops is kind of just getting manhandled by this Klefki right here due to me being really dumb turn 1 and going for an Earthquake on an Air Balloon Klefki. So right here I am going to switch out. I want to save my Archeops to potentially throw off a Fly Z against something else later in the game. I'm going to use my Serena right here to be a pretty bulky pivot right here. As he goes go for the Dazzling Gleam, he's going to do a fair chunk to me right here. And I figured him maybe fearing like a high jump kick or something like that, which would do a big chunk to this thing. He is going to switch out, as I am going to go for a U-turn. If I had Rapid Spin, I probably would have gone for that just to get the spikes away. But unfortunately, we did not. And the U-turn's actually going to do a decent little chunk to this Venu because it's not Mega'd yet. As this gives me a free switch back out into my Archeops, and I get a free Flyinium Z off right here because of the fact that if he wants to switch into his Klefki, Fly Z into Stone Edge actually always knocks it out, and nothing else on his team takes a Fly Z, like at all. Everything else kind of just drops, unless he goes hard Ditto, which would be a cool play, I suppose. But I don't expect him wanting to risk that, as it is his best measure against a lot of my setup. So we are going to throw off a Flyinium Z, as the Venu does end up staying in right here. So we basically get to pick up a KO on this thing. Even if he is max defense, we always knock it out with the Supersonic Sky Strike, because Archeops is a strong lad. As we're going to be able to get off our Z move animation, we're going to get it off and knock out this Mega Venusaur right here, which is phenomenal for my Scizor in the endgame. If this was HP Fire Venu, it was one of the few things that could take like a +1 or +2 hit from Venu from full. From Scizor from full, and then, you know, revenge us potentially depending on how low we were. As he's gonna go from the end of the Weavile right here. I don't want to switch hard into Scizor because of the fact that one, he might be Sash Counter, which I don't want to risk, and two, the fact that he might be Natural Gift Fire. Now, if I go hard Scizor on the Natural Gift Fire and he's able to, you know, knock out my Scizor, I lose my win con. So I figure my play is just stay in here, sack off my Archeops, and, you know, potentially deal with the Weavile in another way, as he actually ends up going for the knockoff. Now, due to me having a good amount of HP investment and a Z Crystal, we're actually able to live the knockoff, and we're able to get off this huge Stone Edge. And even though we were in Defeatist, we actually bring it down into the red, which is phenomenal. I am going to be able to, my Archeops is going to go down, but I am going to be able to go into my Scizor now. I don't have to fear the Sash Counter, which he told me after the game he was Sash Counter Weavile to try and lure my Scizor. But that's totally fine. I can throw off a Bullet Punch right here. I almost went for the Curse to try and set it up on this thing, because if I actually set up right now, I think I won the game, because he does stay in right here. If I set it to +1 with Curse, I won the game. If I set it to +2 with, you know, Scizor right here, I think I won the game, because at that point I believe I knock out Tornadus and all that stuff, which would have been absolutely phenomenal for us. But I did want to play it safe just in case he was a Natural Gift Fire. I didn't know for sure, and I'm not going to toss out my win con like that, as he is going to go into the Tornadus next. Now, right here, fearing a Heat Wave or something like that, I am going to switch out. I'm going to sack off my Serena. I figure it doesn't serve like any purpose at all in this game, and I don't have a switch into this thing, as he does miss the Hurricane. But that's not a big deal, because we're not going to be able to outspeed in this next turn anyways, and it's definitely going to knock us out this next time. Right here, he does go for the Hurricane. I believe I went for the Toxic, just in case he did miss or something like that. Either went for the Toxic or the U-turn. But yeah, he is going to be able to take our Serena, but that's completely fine. Least useful member on the team by far in this game, as I am going to go out into my Mamoswine. Now right here, I actually really contemplated clicking Earthquake on the obvious Klefki switch, but I wanted to play it safe, and I end up just going for an Ice Shard, trying to chip this thing down, and knock out the Tornadus if you want to stay in with the Banded Ice Shard, or at least put him in range of a Bullet Punch, because if we put him in range of Bullet Punch, then we basically win the game with Scizor again. And right here, I'm going to go into my Mew. I figure I have to take any hit from this thing that I really want to, and this is my opportunity to set up a nasty plot and kind of break through his team a little bit, because if he wants to go into the Tornadus, we knock it out or put it in range of a Bullet Punch with Psychic. If he wants to go Mimikyu, we can bust its disguise so we can revenge it with Scizor, and if he you know, stays in with this thing, we can knock it out potentially as well, as he is going to go for the Toxic. Synchronize isn't going to work, obviously, as we do get up a nice little nasty plot right here. You know, able to get up to +2 special attack. Now, we're not super offensive. We only have 44 investment, which was to Oko a Weavile at +2 with Vacuum Wave. But that's completely fine, because if he was physically defensive, we actually probably knocked him out right here. If he's going to go for a third Spike, kind of the last ditch ever, just in case we had Fire Blast or something like that. As we are going to be able to throw off a Psychic, and, you know, do a big chunk to this thing, but unfortunately it's not going to be enough to take it out. We are going to be able to take it out on the subsequent turn, though, which is completely, you know, fine with me. I don't need this thing to sweep at this point. Like I said, my win con is definitely the Mega Scizor in the back, and I just need to put myself in a position in which it can win. That, or my Komodo and Mamoswine can also do it, potentially. With this Klefki gone, I can just spam Ice Moves for the rest of the game, which is great. So down goes the Klefki, which is really, really annoying versus my team. And now the only obstacle actually in the way of, like, a Komodo behind a sub is going to be the Mimikyu, which he goes into right now. Now, he goes into the Mimikyu. My play right here is to click Psychic. I want to break this thing's disguise 100% of the time. I'm not going to let it get up to +4 for free, as he does obviously lose the disguise right here, and he can't break through me, actually, if he's not +2. So he is going to go for the Swords Dance, which is a great play on his end. He might as well get the free setup while he can. As this next turn, after I get my lefties and Poison Chip and all that stuff, I believe he's going to go for a Shadow Sneak, just to be able to pick us off. We're not super defensive. Like, we have a lot of defense investment, but Mimikyu is pretty strong. I believe he was Life Orb. I don't know if he was Adamant or not, and it might have been a roll to take us out, but he does get, you know, said roll if it was one. Takes out my Mew right here, shows to be Life Orb, and due to our Scizor's investment, after Life Orb, we always knock it out with Bullet Punch, which is phenomenal, thanks to, you know, our pretty hefty attack investment on this thing. I think we're like 132 adamant or something like that. I know we're adamant with a lot of attack investment, so we are going to be able to throw off a Bullet Punch. After the second Life Orb hit, it is most definitely in range, even if he's like max HP. Mimikyu is going to go down. Komodo looks a little bit nicer if he like goes into the Ditto on another mon on my team or something like that, as he is going to go out into the Tornadus right here. Now my play is to just go for the Bullet Punch, try and get a little bit of chip off on this thing, as I don't switch into it very well. I can go into my Mamoswine next and potentially win the game with that, as he does go for the Air Slash, and he actually misses. So not even going for the Hurricane, he misses, which really does suck, because at this point, this means that my Scizor pretty much wins the game. We're able to knock him out with a Bullet Punch right here, and he's going to go out into the Ditto right here that said Mew, and I just now noticed that, which actually confused me for a second there. I was like, wait a minute, I have Mew. But he is going to transform into us, and this Scizor set actually can never beat itself, you know, if it is choice locked in any way. So he's going to go for the Bullet Punch. We are out of range of Bullet Punch, actually. I am going to go for the Roost. And it gets a little bit of stally right here because I wanted to save as much differential as possible. I'm sure my opponent understands this. This IBL season is actually really tight in the standings if you haven't been checking out other coaches and stuff like that. And I want to potentially get a first round bye, so I want to have as much differential as I can possibly get. I want to speed it up a little bit right here. As I go for another Roost, he only has 5 Bullet Punches total, so if I can stall him out of those and then, you know, start going for Bullet Punches of my own, I should win this game guaranteed. I think it was guaranteed regardless, but just in case, you know, something crazy happened, I figured this was, you know, my best play, as I do get up 1 curse. Just kind of showing off the set, I guess, as his Bullet Punch does even less that time. I go for a Bullet Punch myself. I'm going to do more than he does, and I believe this next turn is his last Bullet Punch right here, as I'm going to go for another Bullet Punch myself, bring him down to around half, pretty close to that at least, as he is going to go for the Struggle right here. I believe I go for one more Roost, just in case, like, I actually didn't remember if Struggle, like, actually were just a normal type move, and it would be resistant to, Steel would resist it, so I wanted to make sure I was out of range of, like, crit struggles or something like that, as he is going to struggle, knock himself out here, and we are going to be able to beat Storm here with a nice convincing 3-0 victory. So like I said at Team Preview, our Scizor was phenomenal in this game. He did not have much counterplay to it, like, in the slightest. So that's really nice for us, actually. We are able to pull out a win. I believe this brings us to 6-3, putting us pretty back high up in the standings. We're starting to string together some wins again after taking a couple of pretty tough losses in the middle of the season there. And if we can keep winning, we can potentially get either the first or the second seed, get a nice little bye in playoffs, get a nice little break, go straight into the semis game, and potentially make it to the finals from there, which is obviously always the goal. But yeah, GG's to Storm. He definitely played well, brought some pretty cool sets like the Sash Counter Weavile, you know, stuff like that. And yeah, if you guys are new, be sure to stick around and subscribe so you can catch our games as they go up every single week. We have multiple leagues that we're doing at the same time, as well as, you know, liking the video if you did enjoy. It really does help me out. It lets me know I'm doing a good job, you know, and I really do appreciate it. But yeah, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to get out of here. Later.